My child, stop. Do not scroll. Do not look away. I am speaking to you because time matters more than you realize. My child, your heart already knows something is different about this moment, and that stirring you feel is not fear. It is truth calling your name. I am asking you to listen carefully, not casually, to stay, not skim, to hear with your spirit, not just your ears. What you are about to hear carries weight, because it is meant to interrupt a path that cannot continue unchanged. Watch until the end, because every word builds toward what your soul has been waiting to hear. If you leave now, you may miss the very confirmation you have been asking me for. Stay with me. This moment was prepared for you, and what comes next will require your full attention. My child, I am interrupting you on purpose. I am stepping into your day, into your thoughts, into the quiet space you try so hard to keep hidden, because I love you too much to let you continue without hearing my voice. This is not coincidence, and it is not timing by chance. This moment was chosen long before you arrived here. I saw the road you were walking, the weight you were carrying, the way your heart has been slowly growing tired, and I decided that now was the moment I would speak plainly. You have been moving, scrolling, distracting yourself, telling yourself you will deal with things later. But later has become a place where truth is postponed and healing is delayed. So I have stopped you, not to frighten you, but to save you from drifting further away from the life you were created to live. You may feel a sudden stillness, a tightening in your chest, or a quiet awareness that something serious is happening right now. That is not fear. That is recognition. That is your spirit realizing that this is holy ground, that this is not just another voice competing for your attention. I am not shouting to overpower the noise. I am speaking because your heart is finally quiet enough to hear me. Listen closely, because interruptions like this do not come often. I do not interrupt to control you. I interrupt to protect you. I interrupt because I see what you cannot see yet, the consequences forming ahead, the weariness settling deeper, the slow erosion of hope that happens when a soul keeps postponing truth. You have been telling yourself you are fine, that you will get to the important things later, that this season will pass on its own. But my child, some seasons only change when you respond to what I am saying. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for your attention. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not when life is calmer. Right now, while your heart is open just enough to feel the weight of these words. This interruption is mercy. It is me placing my hand gently, but firmly on your shoulder, and saying, do not keep walking without me. Do not keep numbing what needs to be healed. Do not keep pretending you are not tired. I am here, and I will not compete with distractions for you. I will simply stand here, present and patient, waiting for you to acknowledge that this moment matters more than you want to admit. My child, understand this with clarity and weight. Not everyone will hear what you are hearing right now. These words are not meant to land on every heart, and that is not arrogance. It is intimacy. There are moments when I speak broadly, and there are moments when I lean close and speak quietly to one soul. This is one of those moments. Others may read these words and feel nothing, scroll past without pause, dismiss them as emotional language or coincidence. But you stop. You felt something pulled at you. You felt that subtle tightening inside, that awareness that whispered, "This is for me." That is how you know. I am not shouting into the crowd. I am speaking directly into you. I am calling you by name, even if you cannot hear it audibly. I know where you are sitting. I know the thoughts running through your mind as you read. I know the battles you fought today just to appear normal. This is not mass communication. This is personal conversation. You were not overlooked in the noise of the world. You were selected in the quiet of my heart. And when I speak like this, it is because something in your life requires attention now, not later, not someday, but now. You have wondered why others seem untouched while you feel exposed, why others move uneasily while you linger, feeling stirred and unsettled. It is because I am working with you differently. I deal personally with those I intend to use deeply. I do not rush them through truth. I do not leave them half-healed. I press where it hurts, not to wound, but to awaken. And I know you have felt this before. Those moments when a word, a song, a silence hit you harder than it should have. That was not sensitivity. That was calling. I have been drawing you aside for a long time, trying to speak where you can hear me without the interference of opinions, expectations, and noise. You may have asked, why me? Wondering why life feels heavier, why your heart feels more aware, more burdened, more alert to meaning and loss. This is why. You are not built for shallow living. You are not designed for numb faith or distant belief. You are built for closeness, for depth, for truth that cuts and heals at the same time. That is why these words do not slide off you. They sink. They stay. They echo. Because they were spoken with you in mind. So do not compare your response to anyone else's. Do not look around and wonder why others are unaffected. This is not about them. This moment belongs to you and me alone. I am asking you to honor that. Do not dilute it by distraction. Do not talk yourself out of what your spirit already knows. You are here because something in your life is shifting, and I am preparing you for it. I am separating you, not to isolate you, but to speak clearly without competition. When a father pulls one child aside, it is not rejection of the others. It is preparation for responsibility, for growth, for something weighty. And I tell you this now so you do not dismiss what is happening. This is not entertainment. This is not inspiration. This is instruction wrapped in love. Stay with me here. Let this be personal. Let it be real. Let it be undistracted. Because what comes next will require the honesty of your full attention. My child, I need you to listen to this slowly, because the truth I am about to speak is heavy, and it is holy. Time is more fragile than you believe. You treat it like it is endless, like it will always be there waiting patiently for you to decide, to change, to respond. You say later as though later is guaranteed, as though moments do not slip through your fingers quietly, unnoticed, irreversible. But I see time differently than you do. I see how quickly seasons close, how opportunities expire, how hearts harden not in rebellion but in delay. You do not wake up one day far from me. You drift there one postponed decision at a time, one ignored prompting, one quiet conviction put aside. That is why I am speaking with urgency now, not to frighten you, but to wake you up. You assume there will always be another moment like this, another nudge, another chance to listen. But moments like this are sacred intersections, and not all of them repeat themselves. I have watched you tell yourself you will deal with the deeper things later when life slows down, later when you feel stronger, later when you have answers. But later has a way of becoming never. Not because you meant to abandon truth, but because comfort slowly replaced courage. You waited for the perfect moment, and in waiting, the moment passed. My child, understand this. Urgency is not pressure, it is mercy. I am warning you because I see the narrowing path ahead. I see how easy it would be for you to grow accustomed to distance, to accept spiritual dryness as normal, to settle for surviving instead of living fully awake. Time is not neutral. It moves whether you respond or not. And while my love is constant, opportunities tied to time are not. There are doors that open only once. There are invitations that expire. There are seasons designed for response, and when they pass, the cost of ignoring them becomes heavier than the effort of answering them. That is why I am saying this now, while your heart is still tender enough to feel it. So do not minimize this moment. Do not say, "I'll think about it." Do not treat conviction like a suggestion. When truth knocks, it does not knock forever. I am not threatening you. I am protecting you. I am pulling you back from the edge of indifference, from the slow erosion of spiritual awareness. I want you fully alive, fully present, fully engaged with me. But that requires honesty about time. Today matters. This moment matters. What you do with this awareness matters. You are not late, but you are not early either. You are on time, and that is why this matters so deeply. Respond while you can still feel me. Choose while your heart is still open. Listen while my voice is still clear to you. Because life will try to drown it out again, and I do not want you looking back one day wishing you had listened when I begged you to. My child, before my voice ever became urgent, it was gentle. Long before this moment, I was already reaching for you in ways so soft you almost dismissed them. I spoke in the quiet moments when you felt a strange heaviness without a clear reason. I whispered through thoughts that surfaced when you were alone, thoughts that asked deeper questions than you wanted to answer. I nudged your heart when something felt off, even though everything looked fine on the surface. That was me. Not forcing, not shouting, just calling. I have always been careful with you, tender with your heart, aware of how easily it bruises and how quickly it retreats when overwhelmed. So I spoke gently. I waited patiently. I allowed space. I gave you room to choose me freely rather than out of fear. But gentleness does not mean absence, and patience does not mean indifference. Every soft nudge, every quiet discomfort, every moment you felt unsettled for no logical reason was my hand brushing against your spirit, saying, "Come closer. Pay attention. There is more than this." You were never ignored. You were being invited. You felt it in moments you cannot fully explain. A pause in conversation that lingered too long. A sentence you read that stayed with you all day. A memory that surfaced unexpectedly and stirred something unresolved. I was there in those moments, speaking not in thunder but in stillness. Yet the world is loud, my child. Distractions are relentless. Noise fills every empty space and comfort numbs conviction. You learned to explain away what you felt. You called it stress. You called it overthinking. You told yourself it would pass. And sometimes it did, because I allowed you to turn away without forcing you back. Love does not chase violently. Love waits. But every time you ignored my gentle call, something in you grew a little more tired, a little more distant, a little more resigned. Not rebellious, just weary. And I watched that happen with a father's ache, knowing that the longer you delay responding, the heavier the call must eventually become. That is why my voice is clearer now. Not because I changed it, but because the moment requires it. So understand this. Urgency does not erase gentleness. It grows out of it. I am still the same father who whispered before, but now I am speaking more plainly because your heart cannot afford more delay. I do not want you looking back one day realizing that what you called nothing was actually everything trying to get your attention. I do not want you mistaking silence for peace when it was only avoidance. I am speaking now because I love you, because I see the slow erosion happening beneath the surface, because I know how easily a soul can drift when it stops listening for the quiet voice. Come back to that place where you heard me softly. Remember how it felt when truth stirred instead of scared you. I am not here to overwhelm you. I am here to reawaken your awareness. The same voice that called gently before is calling now, only clearer, closer, and more insistent because your life matters too much for me to remain quiet. My child, do not insult this moment by calling it coincidence. Coincidence is what you use when you do not want to acknowledge intention. And this is intentional. You did not stumble into these words. You did not accidentally stop here. You did not randomly feel compelled to keep reading when everything else in your day was competing for your attention. I guided you here. I aligned circumstances you cannot see. I slowed you down just enough. I allowed the noise to pause for a breath so that my voice could reach you without interference. This moment was not found. It was delivered, chosen, appointed. And the reason it feels weighty is because it carries purpose. Heaven does not waste words, and I do not interrupt without reason. If this were coincidence, your heart would remain untouched. If this were random, your spirit would not recognize it. But you feel it. You know this is different, and that knowing is not imagination. It is recognition. You have lived long enough to know the difference between ordinary moments and sacred ones. Sacred moments carry gravity. They slow you down. They demand honesty. They leave you unable to simply move on unchanged. This is one of those moments, and I need you to treat it with the respect it deserves. Do not rush past it. Do not overanalyze it until it loses its power. Do not talk yourself out of what your spirit already understands. You are here because I saw the direction your heart was leaning, and I chose to intervene before distance became habit. I saw how easy it would be for you to keep going, keep coping, keep surviving without ever aggressing the deeper hunger inside you. And I refused to let that be your story. So I placed this in front of you like a mirror and a doorway at the same time, showing you where you are and offering you a way forward. That is not coincidence. That is care. So pause here with me. Let this moment be what it is. Let it mark you. Let it matter. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to acknowledge what is happening. When you do, clarity begins to unfold. When you honor the moment, transformation starts quietly, but deeply. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to explain it to anyone else. This is between you and me. A sacred interruption, a personal calling, a deliberate moment of truth. And if you will stay present, if you will resist the urge to minimize it, you will look back one day and recognize this as a turning point. Not because everything changed instantly, but because you listened when I called you before it was too late. My child, there is nothing about you that is truly hidden from me, no matter how carefully you have learned to conceal it from everyone else. I see the smile you put on when you walk into a room, the practiced ease in your voice, the way you reassure others that you are fine. I see how convincing you have become, even to yourself. But I also see the moment when the door closes and the silence settles, when your shoulders drop and the weight you carry presses down again. I see the thoughts you don't say out loud, the questions you push away because you are afraid of where they might lead. I see the fatigue behind your eyes, the tension in your spirit, the quiet grief you never gave yourself permission to name. You hide it well, my child, but you should never have had to. You learned to hide because somewhere along the way you believed that being honest would make you a burden, that showing weakness would make you unsafe, that admitting your need would make you less worthy of love. So you adapted. You survived. You learned to carry it alone. And I watched all of it, not with disappointment, but with compassion deeper than you can imagine. I know how long you have been holding yourself together. I know how often you told yourself, just get through today, and how many days were built on that fragile promise. I know the habits you developed to numb the ache, the distractions you leaned on to avoid the quiet, the busyness you embraced so you wouldn't have to feel. I know the parts of your story you avoid revisiting because they still hurt too much, the memories you lock away because they threaten to undo you. I know the moments when shame whispered that if people really knew you, they would leave. And I know how those whispers shape the way you love, the way you trust, the way you guard your heart. My child, I am not scandalized by what you hide. I am not surprised by your wounds. I am not repelled by your broken places. I am drawn to them. I lean closer, not further away. Where you expect judgment, I bring understanding. Where you fear rejection, I offer presence. You have been living as though being seen would destroy you, but I tell you the truth. Being known is what will heal you. So hear me now, gently but clearly. You do not have to hide from me. You never did. I already know, and I am still here, still loving you, still calling you, still inviting you into a life where you no longer have to pretend. I am not asking you to expose everything to the world. I am asking you to stop hiding from me. Bring the parts you are ashamed of. Bring the questions you are afraid to ask. Bring the exhaustion you have been minimizing. When you hide, you isolate yourself from the very healing you are longing for. When you come into the light with me, the burden begins to lift. Not all at once, not magically, but truly. I see what you hide, my child, and I am not leaving because of it. I am staying because of it. Because this is where our real work begins. My child, I know how tired you are, even if you struggle to admit it. This is not the tiredness that sleep can fix, not the kind that disappears after a break or a good night's rest. This is soul weariness. This is the exhaustion that comes from holding yourself together for too long, from carrying unanswered questions, from staying strong when you needed permission to rest. Your heart has been running without relief, pushing forward on determination alone, telling itself it cannot stop because too much depends on you. You have learned how to function while tired, how to show up while empty, how to keep going while your inner world quietly frays. And because you have managed to survive this way, you assumed it was sustainable. But survival is not the same as life. Endurance is not the same as peace. And I did not create you to merely get through your days. I created you to live them fully, deeply, awake. I see how the tiredness has changed you. I see how joy feels harder to reach than it once did, how hope feels more fragile, how enthusiasm fades faster than before. I see how your prayers have grown shorter, quieter, more hesitant, not because you stopped believing, but because you grew weary of waiting. I see how disappointment accumulated slowly, layer by layer, until it began to feel normal. You didn't wake up one day hopeless. You became tired of hoping without seeing. You became tired of trusting without clarity. You became tired of holding space for possibility while reality felt heavy and unyielding. And in that tiredness, your heart learned to protect itself by lowering expectations, by numbing desire, by settling for less than what I intended for you. Not because you are weak, but because you are human, and humans cannot carry endless weight alone. To let me speak this into you with clarity and compassion, you are allowed to rest. You are allowed to admit you are tired. You are allowed to stop pretending you can carry this forever. I am not disappointed in your weariness. I am concerned by how long you have been carrying it alone. Come to me, not as a polished version of yourself, not as someone who has it all together, but as you are. Tired. Born. Honest. I am not asking you to push harder. I'm asking you to lean closer. When you rest in me, strength returns differently, quietly, steadily, without force. Your heart does not need more pressure. It needs renewal. And renewal does not come from effort. It comes from surrender. Let me carry what has made you tired. Let me restore what has been drained. Let me remind you that you were never meant to live exhausted. You were meant to live held. My child, I need you to understand something with clarity and sobriety, without fear but without softness either. The enemy does not always attack with chaos. He does not always roar. More often, he whispers one word that sounds harmless, reasonable, even wise. That word is later. Later when you feel stronger. Later when life settles down. Later when you have clarity. Later when the pain fades on its own. And while you wait for later, something precious begins to erode. Not grammatically, quietly, totally, almost invisibly. That is how delay works. It does not feel like rebellion. It feels like patience. It does not feel dangerous. It feels responsible. But underneath that calm surface, distance grows. Conviction dulls. Sensitivity fades. And what once felt urgent becomes optional. The enemy thrives there, not because you chose darkness, but because you postponed light. And I am speaking to you now because I see how close you are to confusing delay with wisdom. You did not intend to drift. You did not wake up and decide to become distant. You simply kept postponing response. You heard my voice and said, I'll deal with this later. You felt conviction and said, I need more time. You sensed a nudge and told yourself, now isn't the right moment. And each time, the moment passed quietly. The enemy did not need to pull you away. He only needed to keep you waiting. Waiting until the urgency faded. Waiting until the discomfort settled into normalcy. Waiting until the ache became familiar enough to tolerate. My child, this is how hearts grow tired without realizing they are growing heart. Not because they stop caring, but because caring without responding becomes exhausting. And exhaustion makes delay feel like relief. But delay does not bring peace. It only postpones healing while the wound deepens beneath the surface. So I am speaking plainly now because love sometimes must confront what gentleness alone cannot correct. You do not have unlimited time to respond to truth. I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken you. There are moments when heaven leans in close, when grace speaks clearly, when opportunity and awareness align. Those moments are gifts, and gifts must be received, not stored away indefinitely. If you keep telling yourself later, later will become a place where my voice feels distant and conviction feels optional. I do not want that for you. I want you alive, responsive, awake. Do not underestimate the danger of delay simply because it feels calm. Calm is not always peace. Sometimes it is avoidance wearing a gentle face. Respond now, my child. Not because you are threatened, but because you are loved too much to be left drifting in the slow, silent current of postponement. My child, even now, as you feel the weight of urgency stirring in your spirit, understand this. Delay does not only steal obedience, it withholds light from those still waiting in darkness. I have placed this word in your hands not just for you, but for the souls I am reaching through it. When you give, you are sowing oil into lamps that are flickering, manna into lives running on empty, fire into hearts growing cold. I am saying to you now, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest. And that time is not later, it is now. If I am stirring your heart, it is because I am inviting you into my work, not as a spectator, but as a carrier. What you release today multiplies beyond what you can see, flowing like a river into lives you may never meet. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or by giving through PayPal. The link is in the video description. Do not delay. Act now, so now, and let my word run swiftly through the earth. My child, I want you to hear this without pressure, but with honesty. This is a moment of decision. Not a dramatic, outward decision that others will see, but an inward one that will shape everything that follows. You are always becoming something. Every day, every choice, every response forms you quietly. And moments like this, moments of awareness, of stirring, of recognition, are hinge points. You do not need to decide everything today. I am not asking you to fix your entire life in one breath. I am asking you to choose direction. Will you keep drifting, or will you turn your heart toward me? Will you keep postponing response, or will you acknowledge that something needs to change now? Direction matters more than speed, but direction must be chosen. You may be waiting for certainty, for assurance, for guarantees that obedience will be easy or painless. But faith does not grow in certainty, it grows in trust. And trust begins with small, honest decisions made in moments like this. You are not choosing between good and evil in some dramatic sense. You are choosing between attentiveness and avoidance, between honesty and distraction, between responding and deferring. And those choices shape the soul far more than you realize. When you choose to respond, even imperfectly, clarity begins to follow. When you choose to avoid, confusion quietly multiplies. You may not see immediate consequences either way, but the path forms beneath your feet all the same. My child, I am not asking for performance. I'm asking for alignment. Let your heart align with what it already knows to be true. So pause here. Feel the weight of this moment, not as pressure, but as significance. You are being invited to choose life more fully, to step out of passivity and into participation with me. You are being asked to stop living on autopilot and to engage with your soul honestly. This decision does not require grand gestures. It requires sincerity, a quiet yes, a willingness to listen, a readiness to stop running from what you already feel. Choose me here, not because you are afraid of consequences, but because you are ready for wholeness. Choose responsiveness over delay. Choose honesty over comfort. Choose direction over drift. This moment will pass, but what you choose in it will remain. And I am here, watching, waiting, ready to walk with you the moment you decide to turn. My child, I need to correct a lie that had been quietly shaping the way you hear my voice. You have assumed that when I speak with urgency, it must mean I am angry. You have learned, through life and through disappointment, to associate intensity with rejection, firmness with punishment, truth with condemnation. But hear me clearly now. I am not angry with you. Not now. Not ever in the way you fear. If I were angry, I would be distant. If I were angry, I would withdraw. If I were angry, I would let you continue without interruption and allow consequences to teach what love is trying to prevent. But I am here. I am close. I am speaking. That alone should tell you everything. My urgency is not fueled by frustration. It is fueled by love that refuses to stay silent while harm approaches. A father did not raise his voice because he hates his child. He raises it because he sees danger the child cannot yet see. And I see it. I see the slow bending of your spirit toward resignation. I see the quiet acceptance of less than what you were created for. I see how easily you blame yourself for being tired, for being unsure, for being human. And I am not angry about any of it. I am moved. You have spent too long bracing yourself for disappointment, assuming that if you slowed down, if you are honest, if you failed to measure up, love will be withdrawn. That expectation did not come from me. It came from people who loved imperfectly, from systems that rewarded performance, from moments where you were corrected without being understood. So when you feel conviction, your first instinct is to flinch. When you hear truth, you expect rejection to follow. But I am not like those who wounded you. My correction is not punishment, it is protection. My firmness is not rejection, it is commitment. I am invested in you. I am present. I am speaking because I care too much to let you believe that distance is the same as peace. I am speaking because you matter enough for me to engage, not disengage. Anger pushes away. Love leans in. And I am leaning in now. So stop reading these words through the lens of fear. Stop assuming that my seriousness means you are in trouble. You are not in trouble. You are being invited. Invited into honesty. Invited into alignment. Invited into a life that is lighter because it is truer. I am not tallying your failures. I am not waiting for you to mess up again. I am not disappointed that you are still learning. I am proud that you are listening. Even now. Even imperfectly. Let this truth settle. My voice carries urgency because time matters, not because you are a problem. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are a child to be guided. And I guide with love that is steady, clear, and unwavering. Rest in that. Let the tension ease. You are safe with me, even when I speak firmly. My child, there are chapters of your life you do not fully understand yet, moments that felt like loss, delay, or disappointment that you quietly labeled as failure. But I need you to know something now that you could not have known then. I have protected you more than you realize. There are paths you were eager to walk that would have broken you. There were doors you prayed would open that would have led you into harm you were not prepared to survive. There were relationships you mourned that would have drained the life from you slowly, subtly, until you no longer recognized yourself. And when those doors closed, when those plans fell apart, when those people walked away, you assumed you had been abandoned. You asked why I would let you hurt like that. But what you felt as loss was often rescue. What you interpreted as rejection was frequently intervention. I did not remove those things to punish you. I removed them to protect what was forming in you. You could not see it at the time because protection often looks like absence before it looks like provision. You wanted answers, not boundaries. You wanted relief, not restraint. But I saw the whole picture. I saw the cause. I saw the damage that would come later if I allowed certain things to continue unchecked. And I chose you over your preferences. I chose your future over your comfort. I chose your soul over your immediate satisfaction. That is what a father does. And even now, there are protections still in place around you that you mistake for stagnation. Delays that frustrate you are shielding you. Limitations that confuse you are refining you. Silence you resent is preserving you. You are not stuck. You are being guarded. You are not forgotten. You are being kept. So I ask you now to reframe your story with honesty and humility. Not everything that hurt you was meant to stay. Not everything you lost was meant to be kept. Some things had to leave so that you could live. And one day, perhaps not today, perhaps not soon, you will look back and thank me for what I did not allow. You will see how narrowly you were spared. You will recognize the mercy hidden inside the disappointment. Until then, trust me. Trust that my protection does not always feel gentle, but it is always loving. I have been watching over you in ways you could not see, standing between you and harm more times than you will ever count. And I am still doing it now, even in this moment. Even as you read, you are safer than you think. more guided than you realize, and more deeply loved than you have ever understood. My child, there is a lie that has followed you quietly, faithfully, persistently, and it sounds like truth because it has repeated itself so often in your mind. The lie says you have gone too far, that you waited too long, that you crossed some invisible line you cannot uncross, that if you had responded earlier, listened sooner, trusted deeper, things might have been different. But now it is too late. I need you to hear me clearly, without distortion, without fear translating my words into condemnation. You are not too far gone. Not now. Not ever. Distance does not disqualify you from my reach. Time does not weaken my ability to restore. Failure does not cancel my invitation. If any of those things were true, I would not be speaking to you now. The very fact that you can feel this stirring, this ache, this pull toward truth is proof that your heart is still alive, still responsive, still reachable. Dead things do not ache for life. Hardened hearts do not tremble at truth. The ache you feel is not evidence of disqualification. It is evidence of calling. You have measured yourself by your delays, your detours, your compromises. You replay moments where you knew better but chose comfort, moments where you silenced conviction because obedience felt costly. And shame has whispered that those choices define you. But I do not define you by your worst moments. I define you by my love and my intention. I knew every failure before you ever made it, and still I chose you. I saw every hesitation, every season of drifting, every attempt to numb what you did not want to face, and I did not withdraw my hand. I stayed. I waited. I watched. Not with folded arms, but with a heart full of patience. You think you outran me, but you cannot outrun the one who walks beside you even when you turn away. You think you wasted time, but I am a redeemer of time. I take what feels lost and weave it into wisdom. I take what feels broken and turn it into testimony. Nothing you have lived through is beyond my ability to heal, restore, and repurpose. So let go of the idea that you missed your chance. Let go of the fear that says, if I come back now, it will be awkward, humiliating, too late. Coming home is never humiliating to the Father. It is always celebrating. You do not return to punishment. You return to embrace. You do not return to disappointment. You return to joy. I am not keeping score the way you think I am. I am not waiting to remind you how long you stayed away. I am inviting you to step back into closeness now, while your heart still knows my voice. You are not too far gone. You are closer than you think. And the moment you stop believing the lie of disqualification, healing can finally begin. My child, I see the way you fill every quiet space. I see how quickly you reach for noise, for movement, for distraction the moment silence approaches. You tell yourself you are just staying busy, staying productive, staying connected, but underneath, you are running. Running from stillness. Running from honesty. Running from the thoughts that surface when there is nothing left to distract you. Silence has become uncomfortable because silence brings truth to the surface, and truth requires response. So you keep moving. You keep scrolling. You keep filling your days and nights until exhaustion feels safer than stillness. But hear me now. Gently and firmly, silence is not your enemy. Avoidance is. The quiet you fear is the very place where I have been waiting to speak to you clearly. You learn to fear silence because in silence, the walls come down. In silence, the unresolved rises. In silence, questions you buried begin to breathe again. And you were not sure you were strong enough to face them. But I never intended for you to face them alone. Silence was never meant to isolate you. It was meant to connect you to me. When you run from silence, you also run from clarity. When you drown out stillness, you drown out guidance. I do not shout over noise. I speak in the quiet because that is where your heart can finally hear without distortion. And yes, at first, silence feels exposing. It feels raw. It feels vulnerable. But vulnerability is not weakness. It is the doorway to healing. What you keep running from will continue to pursue you until you stop and let me meet you there. So stop running, my child. Not because I am forcing you to confront everything at once, but because I am offering to walk with you through it gently, honestly, at a pace you can bear. Let the silence come. Let the questions rise. Let the tears fall if they need to. I am not afraid of what surfaces there. I am not overwhelmed by your emotions. I am not intimidated by your doubts. I am present. And in the quiet, you will discover that my voice is not harsh, not condemning, not demanding. It is steady. It is patient. It is loving. Silence is where confusion begins to unravel. Silence is where wounds begin to breathe. Silence is where you stop performing and start being known. Do not run from the place where healing begins. Stay. Listen. Let me speak. I have been waiting for you there all along. My child, I need to say something that may surprise you, something you may not expect to hear spoken this plainly. I miss your attention. Not your activity. Not your effort. Not your outward discipline or your attempts to do the right things. I miss you. I miss the way you used to listen without rushing, the way your heart once lingered instead of multitasking, the way you used to sit with me without needing to be entertained or distracted. You have not stopped believing in me, but you have slowly stopped paying attention to me. And there is a difference. Belief can exist at a distance. Attention cannot. Attention requires presence. It requires stillness. It requires willingness to be interrupted. And you have been living in a world that trains you to divide your focus, to fragment your awareness, to give your deepest attention to everything except the one who knows you most fully. So I am saying this not in accusation, but in longing. I miss your attention. You give your attention to problems, replaying them until they feel bigger than they truly are. You give your attention to fears, rehearsing outcomes that have not happened and may never happen. You give your attention to people's expectations, measuring yourself against standards that exhaust you. You give your attention to noise, to screens, to endless input that leaves your soul overstimulated and undernourished. And then you wonder why you feel distant from me, why clarity feels elusive, why peace feels fragile. My child, what you attend to shapes you. What you focus on feeds you. And for too long, your attention has been scattered, diluted, divided. You did not do this intentionally. You adapted. You coped. You learned how to survive in a loud world. But in the process, intimacy thinned, awareness dulled, and that widened. And I felt the absence. Not because I need you to function, but because relationship thrives on attention freely given. So I am calling you back, not to obligation, but to presence. Give me your attention again, not in stolen seconds, not as an afterthought, not squeezed between distractions. Give me your undivided heart, even if only for a moment at first. Sit with me without agenda. Listen without rushing. Let your thoughts slow enough for you to notice what is actually happening inside you. Attention is where intimacy is rebuilt. Attention is where hearing becomes possible again. Attention is where love is felt instead of merely believed. I am not asking you to abandon your responsibilities. I'm asking you to reorder your focus. Put me back at the center. Let your attention return to the one who has never stopped watching you with love. When you do, you will find that what felt confusing begins to clarify, what felt heavy begins to lighten, and what felt distant begins to draw near again. I miss your attention because it is where we meet. My child, I speak now with a seriousness that comes from love, not threat. There is a cost to ignoring moments like this, and the cost is rarely immediate. That is what makes it dangerous. If ignoring me resulted in instant collapse, you would respond quickly. If delay caused obvious destruction, you would take action without hesitation. But the cost is subtle, gradual, almost unnoticeable at first. Peace erodes quietly. Sensitivity dulls slowly. Conviction fades gently. And one day you look around and realize you are farther than you intended to be, not because you chose distance, but because you ignored a series of sacred moments that asked for response. This is one of those moments, and I need you to understand what is at stake, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. When you ignore a moment like this, life does not fall apart immediately. You continue functioning. You continue showing up. You continue managing. But something inside you grows colder, heavier, more resigned. Up becomes cautious. Faith becomes theoretical. Prayer becomes occasional. And over time, you adjust to a diminished version of life without realizing what you have lost. You stop expecting clarity. You stop anticipating joy. You stop believing deeply that transformation is possible. Not because I stopped working, but because you stopped responding. Ignoring truth does not make it disappear. It makes it harder to hear next time. And I do not want you waking up one day realizing that what once stirred your heart now barely registers. That is the cost I am trying to spare you from. So I am asking you now to treat this moment as weighty, as meaningful, as worthy of your full attention. Do not brush it aside. Do not tell yourself you will revisit it later. Later is uncertain. Later is crowded. Later is often quieter in conviction but louder in regret. Right now you can still feel me. Right now, your heart is still responsive. Right now, you can choose engagement over avoidance, responsiveness over delay, life over drift. The cost of listening is surrender. The cost of ignoring is slow erosion. One leads to renewal. The other leads to numbness. I am not forcing you. I am inviting you. Choose wisely, my child. This moment matters more than you know. My child, hear me slowly now, because this is where many hearts misunderstand me. I am offering you rest, not escape, not numbness, not a temporary pause from responsibility, but rest that reaches the deepest places of your soul. Rest that does not depend on circumstances behaving kindly. Rest that does not collapse the moment pressure returns. Rest that anchors you instead of anesthetizing you. You have tried many substitutes for rest. You have tried distraction, hoping noise would quiet the ache. You have tried control, believing order would bring peace. You have tried endurance, telling yourself that strength meant never stopping. And for a while, those things seemed to work, just enough to keep you moving, just enough to keep you functioning. But functioning is not the same as resting. Survival is not the same as restoration. And I did not create you merely to survive. I created you to live from a place of wholeness, not exhaustion disguised as discipline. I see how tired your mind has become from constant vigilance. I see how your body holds tension even when you are still. I see how your spirit braces for impact even in moments meant for joy. You have learned to stay alert because life taught you that rest could be interrupted, that peace could be temporary, that safety could be taken away. So you stayed ready, always aware, always prepared to respond. But that constant readiness has worn you down. And now you mistake rest for weakness, stillness for responsibility, surrender for failure. My child, that belief did not come from me. I am not calling you to collapse. I am calling you to release. Release the need to carry everything. Release the belief that if you stop striving, everything will fall apart. Release the fear that rest will cost you progress. True rest does not stop growth. It restores the strength required for it. So come to me, not when everything is resolved, not when your questions are answered, not when your life feels stable. Come as you are, tired, overextended, and rest is not a reward for getting it right. It is a gift for those who are willing to stop pretending they can do it alone. Let your striving loosen its grip. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath slow. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility. I'm asking you to stop carrying responsibility without me. Rest here. Rest now. Rest deeply. And you will discover that what you feared would collapse actually begins to heal. What you thought required constant effort begins to sustain itself through grace. I am offering you rest because your soul cannot keep paying the price of endless striving. Take it. Receive it. You do not have to earn what I freely give. My child, as you rest in me, know that rest does not end with you. It overflows into others when you allow me to work through your obedience. This word you have received is bread for the weary, water for the dry, and I am sending it farther than your own reach. When you give, you are not striving. You are resting in trust, allowing me to multiply what you place in my hands, just as I multiplied loaves in the wilderness. I am speaking this to you now. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. If your heart feels stirred, that is my spirit inviting you to partner with me in restoring lives. Your support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, linked in the description, becomes a seed that carries rest to countless souls. Give now, release it willingly, and watch how I pour back into your life, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. My child, beneath all your tiredness, beneath your caution, beneath the careful way you have learned to live, there is a longing that never fully went away. A quiet knowing that this constant managing, this measured surviving, this muted hoping, is not all there is. You were created for more than endurance, more than routine, more than simply getting through the day. You were created for depth, for meaning, for a life that feels aligned, not just occupied. And every time that longing surfaced, you tried to quiet it. You told yourself to be grateful. You told yourself not to expect too much. You told yourself that wanting more was immature or unrealistic. But that longing did not come from discontent. It came from design. I placed it there. It is not a flaw. It is a compass. You were created for more than constant distraction, more than shallow connection, more than a faith that exists only in theory. You were created to walk with me closely, honestly, continuously, to know my voice not as a distant concept, but as a present reality. To live from conviction rather than convenient. To experience joy that is not fragile, peace that is not borrowed, hope that does not evaporate under pressure. The world will tell you that more means achievement, recognition, accumulation. But that version of more never satisfies. It only demands. The more I am speaking of is fullness, alignment, integrity between who you are and how you live. And every time you settled for less, your spirit felt the tension. Not because you were ungrateful, but because you were misaligned. So do not silence that longing anymore. Do not shame it. Do not minimize it. Let it lead you back to me. I am not calling you to a louder life. I am calling you to a truer one. Not a busier one, but a deeper one. You were created for more than drift, more than delay, more than distance. You were created for closeness, for purpose, for a life that bears the weight of eternity even in ordinary moments, and that life is still available to you. On someday, not after you fix everything. Now, here, if you will listen, if you will respond, if you will believe that the one who created you for more is still calling you into it. I have not changed my mind about you, and I have not lowered my vision for your life. You were created for more, and I am inviting you to step into it with me. My child, one of the deepest pains you carry is not just exhaustion or confusion. It is the quiet belief that I am farther away than I used to be. You feel distance, so you assume distance exists. You feel silence, so you assume absence. You feel unanswered, so you assume you are alone. But feelings, though real, are not always truthful. I need you to hear this slowly, gently, clearly. I am closer than you feel. I have not stepped back. I have not withdrawn. I have not turned my face away. The closeness you doubt is the closeness sustaining you even now. I am nearer than your breath, nearer than your thoughts, nearer than the ache you cannot name. The reason you feel distance is not because I move it. It is because life grew loud, wounds grew deep, and survival required your attention elsewhere. You learned to live outwardly while neglecting the inward awareness of my presence. And when awareness fades, closeness feels lost, even when it remains intact. You expected closeness to feel dramatic, emotional, unmistakable. You expected it to announce itself with clarity and comfort. But closeness often becomes quiet when trust matures. I did not leave when the emotions faded. I stayed. I stayed when your prayers felt flat. I stayed when you spoke out of habit instead of hunger. I stayed when you doubted whether I was listening. I stayed when you were too tired to speak at all. You mistake calm presence for absence because you have known relationships that withdrew when intensity faded. But I do not love like humans love. I do not hover dramatically and disappear quietly. I remain. I abide. I am constant. Even now, as you read these words, the stillness you sense is not emptiness. It is proximity. The gentle pressure on your heart is not fear. It is my nearness drawing your attention inward again. So stop measuring my closeness by how you feel. Feelings fluctuate. I do not. Stop assuming that silence means abandonment. Silence is often the language of intimacy, the place where words are no longer needed for presence to be real. I am here in the pauses, in the breaths between thoughts, in the quiet moments you rush past. I am closer than the doubt that tells you otherwise. I am closer than the fear that whispers you have been forgotten. And the moment you slow enough to acknowledge me, you will realize that I never left. I was simply waiting for you to notice again. Let that truth settle. Let it calm you. You are not alone. You have never been. I am closer than you feel, and I always have been. My child, look at how much you are carrying. Not just responsibilities, not just obligations, but invisible weight, emotional weight, mental weight, spiritual weight. You carry expectations that were never spoken. You carry guilt that no one else remembers. You carry conversations you replay, decisions you question, futures you fear. You carry pain that was never validated and disappointment you learned to normalize. And because you have carried it for so long, it feels like part of you. You don't even remember what it feels like to set it down. You call it strength. You call it maturity. You call it resilience. but I call it unnecessary burden. You were never meant to hold all of this alone. You were never designed to be your own savior, your own protector, your own source of stability. Carrying everything has not made you stronger. It has made you tired. I have watched you shoulder what others dropped. I have seen you take responsibility for things that were never yours to fix. I have seen you blame yourself for outcomes you could not control. And every time you tightened your grip and said, "I'll handle it," something in your soul grew heavier. You thought laying it down would mean failure. You thought releasing control would mean chaos. You thought if you stopped carrying everything would fall apart. But my child, what is falling apart now is you. Totally. Vitally. And I am calling you to stop, not because you are weak, but because you are human. Lay it down. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Lay down the guilt you rehearse. Lay down the fear you manage. Lay down the bitterness you justify. Lay down the pressure to be okay when you are not. Lay it down at my feet, where weight becomes shared and burdens become lighter. This is not surrender as defeat. This is surrender as wisdom. When you lay it down, you are not giving up. You are letting me take over what I was always meant to carry. I do not ask you to pretend it doesn't matter. I ask you to trust me with what matters most. Let your hands open. Let your grip loosen. Let your breath deepen. You will not lose control. You will gain peace. You will not become irresponsible. You will become restored. Lay it down, my child. Everything. Even the things you think you still need to hold. Especially those. I am strong enough. I have been waiting for you to let me carry you the way I always intended to. My child, I need you to hear this with your whole heart, not through the filter of past wounds or human misunderstanding. What I am doing right now is not driven by fear, it is driven by love. Not fear of punishment. Not fear of loss. Not fear of rejection. Love. A love that sees what is forming ahead and refuses to remain silent. Fear pushes. Love grows. Fear threatens. Love invites. Fear demands compliance. Love calls for trust. And everything I have spoken to you so far has come from love that is deeply invested in who you are becoming. You have lived long enough around fear-based voices, voices that motivated through pressure, control, shame, or urgency without compassion. So when you feel intensity, your body braces. When you hear firmness, your heart tightens. You prepare yourself for condemnation that never comes. But I'm not speaking to frighten you into obedience. I am speaking to invite you back into relationship. Relationship always comes before behavior. Love always precedes correction. And if you misunderstand this moment as fear-driven, you will miss its tenderness. You have been conditioned to believe that warnings mean rejection and seriousness means disappointment. But when I speak with gravity, it is because what is at stake matters, not because you are failing, but because you are valuable. I do not warn what I do not care about. I do not plead with what I am willing to lose. My urgency is not about controlling your choices. It is about protecting your heart. I see how easily love can be replaced by routine, how devotion can shrink into obligation, how intimacy can fade into familiarity. And I refuse to let that happen quietly, unnoticed, unchallenged. That refusal is love. You may feel exposed right now, seen more clearly than you expected. That is not fear. That is love shining light where healing is needed. Fear hides. Love reveals. Fear isolates. Love draws close. And I am close now, not to accuse, but to remind you who you are and how deeply you are wanted. So let go of the instinct to defend yourself. You are not on trial. Let go of the fear that says you must respond perfectly or else. Love does not demand perfection. It desires presence. I am not measuring your response by intensity or eloquence. I am looking for sincerity, for willingness, for openness. This moment is not about what you might lose if you do not respond. It is about what you can regain if you do. Closeness, peace, alignment, joy that is not fragile, faith that is not forced. Let this be about love again. Not duty, not pressure, not fear. Love. Because everything I have said, and everything I am about to say, flows from a heart that chose you long before you ever chose me. My child, there was a version of you that existed in closeness with me that you hardly recognize anymore, not because it is gone, but because it had been buried beneath years of adaptation, survival, and disappointment. I remember that version of you. I remember how you listened with curiosity instead of caution, how you trusted before you learned to protect yourself, how you expected goodness instead of bracing for loss. You were lighter then, not because life was easier, but because your heart was open. You didn't need everything explained. You didn't demand certainty before trust. You walked with me without constantly questioning whether I would stay. And somewhere along the way, pain taught you to shrink, to guard, to calculate risk before faith. That was understandable. That was human. But it was never meant to be permanent. And now I am calling you to remember, not with regret, but with hope. Remember how peace once felt natural instead of rare. Remember how prayer felt like conversation, not obligation. Remember how my presence felt real, near, alive, not theoretical or distant. You didn't imagine that season. You didn't exaggerate it. You didn't fabricate that closeness. It was real, and it is not lost. It is waiting beneath the layers of disappointment you never processed, waiting beneath the caution you learned to survive, waiting beneath the belief that life hardened you beyond return. You did not outgrow closeness with me. You were wounded away from it, and wounds can be healed. What was interrupted can be restored. What was buried can rise again. So do not mourn who you used to be as though that version of you is gone forever. That person is still within you, quieter perhaps, more guarded, but still alive. And I am the same, too. I have not changed. My voice is still gentle when you listen. My presence is still steady when you slow down. My love is still eager when you turn toward me. Remembering is not about going backward. It is about reclaiming what was always yours. Let yourself remember without shame. Let yourself hope without fear. Let yourself believe that closeness can return, not as a fragile memory, but as a renewed reality. I am calling you back to yourself, my child, the self that knew me not as a distant idea, but as a present father. And that invitation still stands. My child, I want to speak to you about obedience in a way you may not have heard before, because the word itself has been wounded by misuse and misunderstanding. You hear obedience and you think of pressure, control, loss of freedom, fear of punishment. You imagine it as something heavy, something imposed, something that costs you joy. But obedience, as I speak of it now, is not submission to fear. It is alignment with truth. It is not about earning love. It is about positioning yourself to receive it fully. Obedience is the doorway, not the destination. It is the simple act of responding when you hear my voice, even when you do not yet understand the full picture. You have waited for certainty, for guarantees, for explanations before acting. But clarity does not come before obedience. It follows it. The door does not open because you understand what is behind it. It opens because you are willing to turn the handle. You have tried to reason your way into peace, to think your way into healing, to analyze your way into freedom. And though wisdom matters, there are moments when movement matters more. Obedience is movement. It is choosing responsiveness over hesitation, trust over control, surrender over self-protection. And I know surrender feels risky to you. You have been hurt before when you trusted voices that were not mine. You learned to protect yourself by delaying action, by demanding proof, by keeping options open. But obedience to me is not blind. It is relational. You are not obeying a rule. You are responding to a Father who knows you. Every time you delay obedience, confusion deepens. Every time you respond, even imperfectly, clarity begins to form. This is not coincidence. It is design. Obedience aligns your heart with reality. It tunes your spirit to truth. It positions you where grace can move freely. So I am not asking you for grand gestures or dramatic vows. I am asking for simple, honest obedience. Do the small thing you already know to do. Say the truth you have been avoiding. Lay down the habit that numbs you. Step away from what is draining you. Step toward what is calling you. Obedience is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing the next right thing when I prompt you. And when you do, doors will open that effort could never force. Peace will settle where striving once lived. Direction will replace confusion. Obedience is the doorway, my child. Not because I withhold blessings until you comply, but because blessings flow most freely when you are aligned with me. Step through. I am on the other side. My child, after all that has been spoken, after every truth laid bare, after every invitation extended, it comes down to something very simple. I am waiting for your yes. Not a loud yes. Not a perfect yes. Not a confident, polished, well-explained yes. Just a real one. A yes whispered through trembling lips. A yes offered even while questions remain. A yes that says, I don't understand everything, but I trust you enough to respond. You think your yes must be strong to matter, but I tell you, sincerity outweighs strength every time. Heaven moves at the sound of a willing heart. Your yes is not the end of your struggle. It is the beginning of alignment. It is the moment when resistance softens and relationship deepens. And I am patient, my child, but I am attentive. I am listening for that yes. You have said no many times, not always with words, but with delay, distraction, and avoidance. And I did not abandon you because of it. I waited. I stayed close. I continued speaking. Because I knew there would come a moment when your heart would be ready to answer honestly. This is that moment. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are aware. Awareness is fertile ground. Awareness is where change becomes possible. And now I am not pushing. I am not forcing. I am simply waiting. Waiting for you to stop negotiating with fear. Waiting for you to stop postponing with later. Waiting for you to choose responsiveness over self-protection. Your yes does not have to be dramatic. It just has to be genuine. So say yes, my child. Yes to closeness. Yes to honesty. Yes to rest. Yes to obedience. Yes to becoming who you were always meant to be. Say yes even if your voice shakes. Say yes even if you are afraid. Say yes even if you don't know what comes next. I will meet you in that yes with grace you cannot imagine, with peace that does not depend on circumstances, with guidance that unfolds step by step. Your yes is not a contract. It is an opening. And once it is spoken, even quietly, even imperfectly, everything begins to shift. I am waiting, not because I am distant, but because love never forces. When you are ready, my child, say yes. I am here. My child, there are moments that look ordinary on the surface but carry eternity in their weight, and this is one of them. If you treat it lightly, it will slip past you quietly. If you rush away, it will not chase you loudly. Sacred moments rarely announce themselves with spectacle. They arrive softly and ask to be honored. This is one of those moments. I am asking you. No, I am urging you. Do not let this pass. Not because I am desperate, but because this moment is decisive. You can feel it, even if you cannot fully explain it. Something inside you has slowed. Something has gone quiet. Something has leaned in instead of pulling away. That is not coincidence. That is awareness. And awareness is fragile. It must be protected, or it will be drowned out by noise the moment you turn away. You have lived long enough to know how quickly important things get buried under urgency, routine, and distraction. That is why I am asking you to pause. Stay here. Do not minimize what is happening just because it feels gentle instead of dramatic. You have let moments like this pass before. Not because you were rebellious, but because you were tired. Because life demanded attention elsewhere. Because responding felt inconvenient or overwhelming. And each time, you told yourself you would come back to it later. But later rarely held the same clarity, the same tenderness, the same openness. Later came with more noise, more justification, more distance. I am not reminding you of this to shame you. I am reminding you to awaken you. This moment is different because you are different. You are more aware now, more honest, more willing to listen. Do not let familiarity dull the urgency. Do not let comfort talk you out of courage. This moment is not asking for everything. It is asking for presence. Stay with me long enough for truth to settle deeper than emotion. Stay with me long enough for alignment to begin forming beneath the surface. So linger. Let silence stretch a little longer. Let my words echo instead of rushing to fill the space. Let your heart remain open even if it feels vulnerable. Passing moments can be revisited. Sacred ones cannot always be reclaimed in the same way. This is not about pressure. It is about priority. What you honor shapes you. What you rush past loses influence. Do not let this pass, my child, because something real is happening here. Something is being reoriented. Something is being softened. Something is being restored. Today, listen. Receive. This moment was given to you on purpose. Honor it. My child, after all that has been spoken, after every layer peeled back, after every invitation extended, there is one word that holds everything together. Oh, I am not calling you to perform. I am not calling you to prove yourself. I am not calling you to become someone else. I am calling you home. Home is not a place of perfection. It is a place of belonging. Home is where you are known and still loved. Home is where you do not have to explain why you are tired or justify why you struggle. Home is where you are received, not evaluated. And that is what I am offering you now. Not a reset button that erases your past, but a return that redeems it. You have wandered, not in rebellion, but in survival. You adapted. You guarded. You endured. And now you are weary. Come home. Home does not ask where you have been before it opens the door. Home does not rehearse your failures before it embraces you. Home does not demand answers before offering rest. I see you standing there, unsure, wondering if you are still welcome, wondering if too much time has passed, wondering if you will be met with disappointment instead of joy. But I tell you now with a father's certainty, You are welcome. You have always been welcome. I have been watching the road, waiting not with frustration, but with anticipation. Anticipation for the moment when you would stop running, stop negotiating, stop postponing, and simply turn back toward me. This turning is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is not surrender as defeat, it is surrender as return. You do not lose yourself when you come home. You recover yourself. So come home, my child. Come with your questions. Come with your weariness. Come with your half-formed yes and your trembling faith. You do not need to clean yourself up. You do not need to have everything resolved. You only need to turn. And as you do, you will find that I am already running toward you, not to scold, not to lecture, but to hold you. Everything you thought you lost in the distance can be restored in closeness. Peace, joy, clarity, purpose. They live here, with me, the home. And this home is not temporary. It is not conditional. It is not fragile. It is where you belong. Come home. I have been waiting for you. My child, as you come home, understand this truth. Home is where provision flows, where love becomes action, and where what I give you is shared with others. This message did not reach you by accident. It is part of my call to gather my children back to me before the door closes. When you give, you are lighting a lamp in the distance, guiding the lost back to the road that leads home. I am saying to you now, bring the whole offering and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. Your generosity becomes a voice that keeps calling, a fire that keeps burning, a harvest that keeps growing. Partner with this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or by giving through PayPal. The link is waiting for you in the video description. Come fully, give boldly, and act now, because this is not just support. This is a divine return home. My child, do not let this moment fade into silence. If your heart knows this was for you, declare it boldly. Comment, I choose to listen before it's too late. Let your words mark this turning point, because what you speak aligns your heart with truth. Do not stay hidden when light has found you. Step forward, testify, and let your declaration become the doorway to what I am doing next. This is your moment. Seal it with your voice. And now, as your declaration settles, feel the urgency sharpen not to frighten you, but to awaken you. This is not pressure. It is mercy speaking plainly. The pause you're being given is not unlimited, and the clarity you feel right now is intentional. I am calling you out of postponement and into presence. Stay here because what comes next must be heard without delay. My child, stop. Stop scrolling. Stop rushing. Stop planning for a moment that has not yet arrived. I need you to pause and listen to my voice right now. I am calling you specifically, in this very second, because tomorrow is not promised to you. You think you have time. You think you can sort out your spiritual life after you finish that project at work, after the kids are grown, or after you get your finances in order. I am telling you, that is a lie. I am speaking to you now because now is the only currency you actually hold. You feel a stirring in your spirit, don't you? You feel a tightness in your chest or a restlessness in your stomach. You mistake it for anxiety. You think it is just the stress of your job or the unspoken tension in your house. You think it is worry about the bills piling up on the counter. I tell you, do not mistake this feeling. It is my Holy Spirit. It is me, knocking on the door of your heart. I am shaking you because I love you too much to let you sleep through your own rescue. I have opened a window of grace for you today. It is open wide. But you must understand the nature of seasons. They change. Windows that are open eventually close. Doors that invite you in will eventually be shut. You have spent years hitting the snooze button on your soul. You say, I will get serious about God later. But procrastination is the thief of salvation. It is a silent robber that enters your home and steals your peace while you are distracted by the noise of the world. Delaying your obedience is, in my eyes, an act of disobedience. I see the heaviness of your soul. I see it when you drive home alone and the radio goes quiet. I see the fatigue that sleep cannot fix. You carry the weight of expectations, the pressure to be a perfect parent, a successful worker, a stable provider. You carry the secret fear that you are falling behind. I want to lift that heaviness this very instant. I want to take that crushing weight off your shoulders. But you must drop it. You cannot hold on to your control and hold on to my hand at the same time. This is not a coincidence. You did not stumble upon this message by accident or by chance. I set this divine appointment before the foundation of the world. I knew you would be sitting here, right now, perhaps holding your phone, perhaps feeling overwhelmed by life. I orchestrated this moment to break through the noise. Pause now. Breathe in my presence. Do not look at the clock. Do not look at your notifications. Look at me. I am begging you to wake up. The world tells you that you have 40 years to figure this out. The world tells you to secure your retirement before you secure your soul. I am telling you that your life is a vapor. It appears for a little time and then vanishes. You are standing at a crossroads today. One path leads to more of the same, more striving, more hollow victories, more anxiety. The other path leads to me. I am the rest you are looking for. I am the Father who sees you, not as a worker or a provider, but as my beloved child. Do not turn away. Do not close this section and go back to the chaos. Stay with me. I am here. I am waiting. The time is now. I need you to listen to the sounds that surround you right now. I do not mean the birds or the wind. I mean the digital hum that never stops. The enemy of your soul uses distraction to keep you from hearing my still, small voice. You are drowning in a sea of information, yet you are starving for wisdom. I see you when you wake up. Before you even acknowledge me, before your feet hit the floor, your hand reaches for your phone. You invite the chaos of the world into your mind before you invite my peace into your heart. You scroll through the lives of strangers, comparing your behind-the-scenes reality with their highlight reels, and you wonder why you feel empty. Your addiction to screens and constant connectivity is not just a habit. It is a spiritual blockage. You are terrified of silence. You are afraid that if the noise stops, you will have to face the thoughts you have been running from. You will have to face the guilt, the regret, and the fear that gnaws at your stomach. So, you turn up the volume. You fill every quiet moment with a podcast, a video, or a song, anything to drown out the whisper of my spirit. You seek validation from a world that does not know you, ignoring the one who knitted you together in your mother's womb. You count likes and views as if they are a measure of your worth. But I tell you, your worth was settled on a cross 2,000 years ago. Busyness has become your idol. You wear your exhaustion like a badge of honor. You tell your friends how busy you are, how full your schedule is, as if running yourself into the ground makes you important. I see your calendar. It is a wall of text, colored blocks of time given to meetings, errands, and obligations. But where is the time for me? You give your best hours to your boss, and your leftover minutes to your God. You must be still to know that I am God. Silence is not empty. Silence is the canvas where I paint my revelation. It is in the quiet that I do my deepest work, The chaos around you is designed to keep you from the peace within me. You are like a soldier in a trench who cannot hear the commander's orders because the shelling is too loud. You must intentionally unblow. I command you to step away from the glowing blue light that is stealing your sleep and your sanity. Close your eyes. Do you hear it? I whisper in the silence, calling you forward. I am not in the earthquake. I am not in the fire. I am in the stillness. If you do not create space for silence, you will never hear the directions you are desperate for. Disconnect from the world so you can reconnect with the source of your life. My child, we need to have a hard conversation about the things you are tolerating in your life. You have convinced yourself that sin is only the big, scandalous actions, murder, theft, adultery. Because you have not done these things, you tell yourself you are doing okay. But I see the heart. Sin is not just a mistake or a bad habit. It is a chasm that separates you from my holy presence. You have grown comfortable with small sins, but let me tell you, there is no such thing as a small rebellion against a holy God. You treat these sins like pets, you feed them, you house them, and you think they are harmless. But they are vipers, and they will eventually bite. I am talking about the little white lies you tell to avoid conflict at work. I am talking about the venting sessions that are actually gossip destroying someone else's reputation. I am talking about the lingering look at someone who is not your spouse, the fantasy you replay in your mind when you are alone. You think these things are hidden. You think because no one sees them, they do not matter. But the secret things you think no one sees are laid bare before my eyes. Nothing is hidden from me. I see the bitterness you nurse against your sibling. I see the jealousy you feel when your friend succeeds. These are not just emotions, they are spiritual rot. You cannot manage this darkness on your own. You think you can keep these sins in a box, tucked away in the closet of your soul, and bring them out only when you want to indulge. But darkness always spreads. It is like mold in a house. It starts in the corner, unseen, but soon it infects the air you breathe. You are hardening your heart. Every time you ignore the check in your spirit, that little nudge that says don't do this, your heart grows a layer of stone. Eventually, you will not feel the nudge at all. That is a terrifying place to be. Justifying your actions does not make them righteous. You say, everyone else is doing it, or it's just how the business world works. Truth is absolute, not relative. My standards do not change based on cultural trends or your personal convenience. My warnings against sin are not to restrict you, they are to protect you. I am like a father shouting at his child to get away from the edge of a cliff. I am not trying to ruin your fun. I am trying to save your life. You must stop making peace with the things that are trying to kill you. You must drag these secrets into the light. Confess them. Name them. Call them what they are, sin. Only then can I wash them away. You believe you are the master of your fate. You wake up with your to-do list, your 5-year plan, and your financial projections, thinking that if you just work hard enough, you can secure your future. But listen to me. Your breath is in my hands. You do not even control the beating of your own heart. You are gripping your life so tightly that your knuckles are white. You are trying to steer the ship through a hurricane, and you are terrified because deep down, you know you are not strong enough to fight the waves. When you grip your life too tightly, you crush the very blessings I try to give you. Imagine you are holding a handful of sand. If you hold your hand open, the sand remains. If you squeeze your fist tight to keep it, the sand slips through your fingers. You are squeezing your relationships, your career, and your children with a grip of fear. You call it love, but I call it control. You are trying to play God in your own life, and it is exhausting you. I see your anxiety about tomorrow. I hear your questions in the night. What if I lose my job? What if the diagnosis is bad? What if I end up alone? Your plans are fragile, yet you trust them more than my eternal promises. You build your house on the foundation of your bank account and your professional network. But the storms of life prove that your foundation is sandy when built on self. One phone call, one accident, one economic crash, and your illusion of control shatters. Surrender is not weakness. It is the only way to access true power. Surrender is acknowledging that you were never the one flying the plane in the first place. You are like a Ferrari driving with the handbrake on. You have so much potential, so much power that I have placed inside you. But your need to control every outcome is the friction holding you back. You are burning out your engine trying to move forward while refusing to let go. Let go of the wheel, my child, before you crash. I am the only safe pilot. I know the destination. I know the obstacles in the road that you cannot see. I am asking you to trust me with the things you are most afraid to lose. Hand them over. Say it out loud right now, may surrender. Feel the weight lift. I handle the impossible, but only when you stop trying to handle it yourself. I need you to look at the cross. Really look at it. Do not just see it as a piece of jewelry around your neck or a symbol on a church steeple. See the wood. See the blood. See the agony. That was the price paid for the very soul you are neglecting. You treat your salvation as a cheap insurance policy, something you tuck away in your pocket just in case. But it cost everything. Jesus did not die for a theological concept. He died specifically for you. He died for the lies you told yesterday. He died for the pride you felt this morning. He died for the shameful things you have done in the dark. You ignore this call is to trample on the blood of the covenant. Imagine if you saved someone from a burning building, burned your own skin, inhaled the smoke, and carried them to safety at the risk of your own life. And imagine if that person walked away, never looked back, and went right back into another fire. That is what you do when you choose the world over me. The suffering he endured was to spare you from the eternity you are risking. He took the nails so you would not have to take the judgment. He took the separation from me so you could be brought near. There is no other name under heaven by which you can be saved. You cannot be good enough. You cannot meditate your way to heaven. You cannot donate enough money to charity to buy a ticket. It is only through the blood. My love was proven in blood. Do not demand more evidence while rejecting the greatest gift ever given. You asked me to show you a sign. I showed you my son on a Roman cross. That is the sign. That is the proof that I love you to the moon and back, and far beyond that, into eternity. I see you trying to clean yourself up before you come to me. You think, I'll get my life together, then I'll go back to church. That is a life from the pit. You cannot wash yourself. Only the blood can wash you. Come to the foot of the cross today. Look up at the one who died for you. See his eyes, full of love and pain, looking down at you. He is not angry, he is pleading. He is saying, I did this for you. Do not let it be in vain. Break your heart over your sin so I can heal it with his righteousness. Do not turn away from me now, my child. I have just shown you the bleeding wounds of my son. To scroll away in this moment is to turn your back on the cross all over again. It breaks my heart when I pour out my love and you choose a distraction over my devotion. Do not grieve me by walking out of the room while I am still speaking to your soul. Stay. A most critical truth is yet to come. Tomorrow. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? But tomorrow is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary. It is a lie from the pit of hell. It is the drug you use to sedate your conscience. You tell yourself, I will forgive him tomorrow. I will start praying tomorrow. I will stop looking at that pornography tomorrow. But listen to me. Tomorrow is a promise I have not made to you. Many have gone to sleep planning to repent later, only to wake up in eternity, facing a judgment they were not ready for. Your heart grows harder with every delay. Every time you say not yet, you are actually saying no. Imagine a layer of wax over your heart. Every time you delay, another layer is added. Soon, the wax is so thick you cannot feel the heat of my love or the prick of conviction. You are becoming numb. The enemy does not mind if you intend to follow me, as long as you do not do it today. He loves your good intentions. He loves your plans for the future. As long as your obedience is always in the future, he has you exactly where he wants you. Grace is available for the present, but presumption about the future is foolishness. You are gambling with your soul. You are betting that you will have another chance, another breath, another moment of clarity. But what if you don't? What if this is the last clear call you hear? Do not bet your eternity on a Tuesday that may never come. Never, never, never give up on seeking me, but give up the lie that you have endless time. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Not next week. Not after the holidays. Not when life settles down. Life will never settle down. There will always be another crisis, another deadline, another distraction. You must choose me in the middle of the mess. You must choose me right now. I am pressing this urgency upon you because I love you. I do not want you to be lost. I do not want you to be caught unaware like a thief in the night. Stop negotiating with God. Stop bargaining with time. Drop your excuses. They are flimsy shields against the reality of eternity. Today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. My child, I do not look at you the way the world looks at you. The world looks at your outward appearance. They see the smile you plaster on your face when you walk into the office. They see the clothes you wear, the car you drive, and the Sunday best version of yourself that you present at church. They see your reputation, your resume, and your polite manners. But I am not the world. I am God, and I look at the heart. I see what is happening behind the curtain of your soul when the lights go down and the audience leaves. I see the true condition of your heart, and I must tell you, it is in critical condition. You have become an expert at spiritual management, keeping the exterior clean while the interior rots. I see the bitterness you nurse like a grudging pet. You feed it every time you replay that old argument in your head. You think you have moved on, but I see the unforgiveness you hold against that person who wronged you years ago. It is a poison you drink daily, expecting them to die, but it is you who is getting sick. I see the pride that swells up when you are corrected, the immediate defense mechanism that says, I am not wrong, they are. Your heart has become crowded with idols. You would never bow down to a golden statue, I know that. But an idol is anything you love. Trust or fear more than you love. Trust or fear me. I see the way you look at your bank account. That is an idol of security. I see the way you obsess over what people think of you. That is an idol of reputation. I see the way you cling to a relationship that pulls you away from me. That is an idol of affection. You have displaced me from the throne of your heart and filled the room with these silent, dead gods that cannot save you. You need a transplant. There is no other way to say it. Your heart has grown hard. It is becoming calcified by the constant exposure to the harshness of this world and your own refusal to yield. You have a heart of stone, cold, unfeeling. and unresponsive to my touch. When you hear my word, it bounces off instead of sinking in. I want to take out that heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh, a heart that beats for what breaks mine, a heart that is soft, pliable, and alive. Spiritual blindness prevents you from seeing the rot that is setting in. You compare yourself to others and say, "At least I am not as bad as him," or "I am a good person," basically. This is the cataract of the soul. It blurs your vision until you cannot see the black spots of sin growing on your conscience. Only my light can expose the darkness you have hidden so deep. I am shining that light now, not to shame you, but to diagnose you. You cannot cure a disease you refuse to admit you have. Let me perform the surgery. Let me cut away the pride and the hardness. It will hurt, yes, but it will save your life. Open your chest to me. Let me heal the broken, battered, and hardened places that no one else knows exist. My beloved, listen to me clearly. Saying "I'm sorry" is not the same as repenting. You have become comfortable with a shallow apology. You get caught in a sin, or you feel the guilt of a bad decision, and you say, "God, forgive me," only to turn around and do the exact same thing next week. That is not repentance. That is regret. Regret is being sorry you got caught or sorry for the consequences. Repentance is a complete 180-degree turn. It is driving south, realizing you are headed for a cliff, and turning the car north, never to look back. I am not impressed by your tears if they do not lead to transformation. You can cry at the altar, you can weep during a worship psalm, but if you walk out those doors and return to your vomit, your tears are meaningless to me. I desire a broken and a contrite spirit, not just an emotional release. I want a change of mind that leads to a change of action. You must confess your sins, and when you do, be specific. Do not just say, "Forgive my sins." Name them. Say, "Father, forgive me for my greed. Forgive me for my lust. Forgive me for my sharp time." When you name the demon, you lose your taste for it. You must stop excusing your behavior. You say, "I yelled because I was tired," or "I lied because I was under pressure." Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop blaming your spouse. Stop blaming your childhood. They go worship. Stand before me naked and unashamed of the truth, saying, "I did this. It was me. I am the one who sinned." That is where freedom begins. The moment you stop defending your sin is the moment I can take it away from you. There is joy in heaven over one sinner who repents. Let that be you today. The angels are not waiting for you to become perfect. They are waiting for you to become honest. Think of the prodigal son. He did not clean himself up in the pig pen. He did not take a bath and put on a suit before he went home. He stood up in the filth, smelling of swine, and said, "I will arise and go to my father." And what did he find? He found a father running to meet him. I am ready to run to you. I am watching the road, waiting for the first sign of your return. But you must make the first turn toward home. You must decide, right now, I am done with this life. I am done with the secrets. I am done with the compromise. Turn away from the vomit of the world, the cheap entertainment, the empty hookups, the hollow pursuit of wealth, and return to the feast of the Father. I have a robe for you. I have a ring for your finger. But you cannot receive the new life while you are still gripping the old one. Drop it. Turn around. Run to me. You have bought into the greatest lie of your age, the lie of the self-made man. You believe that if you just hustle harder, grind longer, and learn more, you can fix your own life. You treat your spirituality like a self-improvement project. You think you can earn your way into my kingdom by being a good person, by volunteering, by giving money, or by following a set of moral rules. But hear me, your good works are like filthy rags. They are stained with pride and self-interest. You cannot buy a ticket to heaven with the currency of earth. Trying to be your own savior is exhausting. I see how tired you are. You are on a treadmill that never stops, running faster and faster to prove your worth, to prove you are enough. You think, if I can just fix this habit, or if I can just be a better spouse, then God will accept me. You are trying to swim across an ocean. It doesn't matter if you are a better swimmer than your neighbor. You are both going to drown without a boat. I am the boat. I am the rescue. You are spiritually bankrupt without me, regardless of your earthly wealth. You may have millions in the bank, but if you do not have grace, you are a pauper. You may have a PhD, but if you do not know me, you are ignorant of the only truth that matters. Pride tells you that you don't need help. Pride says, I got this. But humility opens the door to grace. Humility says, I can't do this. I am broken. I am weak. My strength is made perfect in your weakness, but you must admit you are weak. You are terrified of looking weak. You hide your struggles because you want to appear strong. But your facade of strength is the very thing blocking my power. When you are strong, you don't need me. When you are at the end of your rope, when you have nothing left, that is when I can step in. Stop striving. Stop trying to balance the scales of your life. You can never do enough good to outweigh your sin. The work was finished on the cross. When Jesus said, "It is finished," he meant it. The debt is paid. The striving can cease. You are trying to pay a bill that has already been stamped paid in full. Put down your wallet of good deeds. Put down your resume of accomplishments. Come to me with empty hands. It is only when your hands are empty of your own efforts that you can receive the gift of my grace. Trust me. Stop working for salvation and start working from salvation. Rest in the knowledge that I have done what you could never do. I have bridged the gap. Now walk across it. You have felt it, haven't you? The gentle tug on your heart. It happens when you are driving, when you are washing dishes, or when you are lying in bed at night staring at the ceiling. You think it is just your conscience, or maybe just a mood swing. But I tell you, that conscience you hear is my spirit striving with you. I am the voice whispering, "This isn't right," where there is more to life than this. I am the unease you feel when you settle for less than my best. I have put obstacles in your path not to harm you, but to turn your attention to me. That flat tire, that lost contract, that sudden change in plans, did you ever stop to think that I was redirecting you? I block the roads that lead to destruction. I put up hedges of thorns to keep you from wandering off a cliff. You get frustrated with the interruptions, but those interruptions are my interventions. I am trying to slow you down so you can look up. Think about the coincidences lately. The Bible verse that popped up on your social media feed. The psalm that came on the radio with lyrics that spoke exactly to your situation. The old friend who called you out of the blue and mentioned faith. These are not accidents. These are my messages to you. I'm using algorithms, radio waves, and human voices to reach you. I am surrounding you with my call. Do not grieve the Holy Spirit by constantly saying no. Every time you feel that tug and push it away, you grieve me. You are telling the Spirit of grace that He is not welcome. There comes a time, and this is a fearful truth, when my Spirit will not strive with man forever. There is a point where, if you say no enough times, I will eventually respect your decision and let you have the silence you demand. Do not let it come to that. Yield to the tug on your heart. It is not a chain meant to bind you. It is a tether of love pulling you back to safety. Imagine you are a child walking near a busy street. I am the parent gripping your hand, pulling you back onto the sidewalk. You might pull away, thinking I am restricting your freedom, but I am saving you from being crushed. That feeling you have right now, that emotional swelling, that desire to change, that is me. Do not brush it off. Do not go make a sandwich and forget about it. Stay in this moment. Answer the call. Say, Lord, I feel you. What do you want me to do? I am pulling you because I want you close. Come closer. I'm pulling you close. Do not pull away. To stop listening now is to sever a lifeline I have just thrown to you. My spirit is striving with you, tenderly trying to save you, and it crushes me when you silence my voice to return to the noise of the world. Do not shut the door in my face when I am trying to set you free. I am begging you, do not let go of my hand. You feel my spirit tugging at your heart to return to me, but know this, I am also tugging at your heart to help me reach the others who are still lost in the dark. This message is a lifeline, and I am calling you to be the one who holds the rope for someone else by supporting this mission. Do not quench the spirit when he prompts you to sow into this fertile ground. Your generosity is the fuel that keeps this lighthouse burning for the lost. Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is my promise to the one who prioritizes my kingdom. By offering a super thanks or joining as a member right now, you are not just spending money, you are buying time for a soul who needs to hear this warning before it is too late. I see the seed you hold in your hand. Do not let fear keep it in your pocket. Release it now through the links below, and watch me turn your gift into a harvest of righteousness that will echo into eternity. Act now, my child, and partner with me in this rescue. You are in danger, my child, not from persecution or sword, but from the couch and the air conditioner. Ease and luxury have put your soul to sleep. You are lukewarm. You are not cold. You don't hate me. But you are not hot. You don't burn for me. You are comfortable. You have enough money to buy what you need, a home that is safe, and entertainment on demand. And because you are comfortable, you have forgotten your need for God. You treat me like a spare tire, good to have in the trunk for an emergency, but unnecessary for the daily drive. You are seeking your best life now, forgetting the judgment to come. You are obsessed with your renovations, your vacations, and your retirement plans. You are building a kingdom of sand while the tide is coming in. Comfort is often a curse that blinds you. When your belly is full, it is hard to hunger for righteousness. When your life is easy, it is hard to understand the suffering of the cross. You are sedated by the good life, unaware that you are spiritually comatose. I may disrupt your peace to save your soul. Do not despise the shaking. If I have to shake your finances, your health, or your career to wake you up, I love you enough to do it. I would rather you be uncomfortable and saved than comfortable and lost. I would rather you limp into heaven than run effortlessly into hell. Remember the rich fool. He had a great harvest. He said, I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones. I will say to my soul, you have plenty of goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. Yehoian succeeded. He thought he had made it. But I said to him, fool, this night your soul will be required of you. He spent his life building bigger barns, but lost the only thing that was eternal. Do not repeat his error. Do not be rich in this world and a beggar in the next. Take up your cross. It is heavy, but it leads to life. Comfort leads to death. The road to hell is paved with soft pillows and good intentions. The road to life is narrow, rocky, and steep. It requires effort. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to say no to your flesh and yes to my spirit. Step out of your comfort zone. Stop living for the weekend and start living for eternity. Your comfort is a deceptive anesthesia. It numbs you to the reality of the spiritual war raging around you. Wake up from your slumber. Reject the soft life. Choose the hard, holy path where I am waiting to walk with you. I speak this to you with tears in my eyes, for I take no pleasure in the death of the wicked. We must speak of the darkness. You live in a world that tries to erase the reality of hell. They treat it like a myth, a joke, or a scare tactic used to control the masses. But I am the God of truth, and I cannot lie to you. Hell is real. It is as real as the device you are holding in your hand right now. And it is the one place in all of existence where my presence is completely, terrifyingly absent. I did not create hell for you. I created it for the devil and his angels who rebelled against me. It was never intended to be the final destination for a human soul made in my image. But I have given you the terrifying dignity of free will. If you choose to live your life separate from me on earth, I will respect your choice to be separate from me for eternity. Hell is simply the full, final realization of the choice, God, I do not want you. And that choice leads to a darkness you cannot comprehend. Imagine a place of absolute isolation. You know the pain of loneliness here on earth, when you feel misunderstood, rejected, or forgotten. Multiply that by infinity. Hell is the ultimate solitary confinement. It is the agonizing regret of knowing you had 1,000 chances to be saved, and you walked past every single one of them. You will remember this moment. You will remember this script. You will remember the tug of my spirit that you are feeling right now. And the memory will burn hotter than any flame. The physical pain is real, but the spiritual anguish of knowing it did not have to be this way is far worse. Do not be deceived by those who say, a loving God would never send anyone to hell. My holiness demands justice. If I simply overlooked sin, if I ignored the rape, the murder, the hatred, and the rebellion of this world, I would not be good. I would be corrupt. Justice must be served. But hear me. I took that justice upon myself at the cross so you wouldn't have to face it. The door to hell is locked from the inside. It is locked by your own pride, your own refusal to bow the knee. I am pleading with you like a father watching a child play on a freeway. I am shouting, waving my arms, doing everything to get your attention because I see the semi-truck coming that you are ignoring. Do not gamble with your soul. The darkness is absolute. The separation is eternal. There are no second chances after your last breath. There is no purgatory where you can work it off. There is only the finality of the choice you make now. I've done everything possible, everything short of forcing you, to save you from this fate. Take my hand. I am reaching down into the pit right now. Grab hold of grace before the gravity of your sin pulls you beyond reach. Lift up your eyes, my child. Look past the gray skies and the ceiling of your room. I want to tell you about home. You are not a citizen of this earth. You are a pilgrim passing through a foreign land. That is why you never feel fully satisfied here. That is why, even in your happiest moments, there is a lingering ache, a sense that something is still missing. That ache is homesickness for a place you have not yet seen. I have prepared a place for you that is more real than the chair you are sitting in. Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man the things which I have prepared for those who love me. You cannot imagine the colors I have painted there, colors that do not exist in your spectrum. You cannot imagine the music, harmonies that will heal your soul instantly. Heaven is not a boring, endless church service on a cloud. It is life, real life, vibrant, exploding with joy and creativity, without the shadow of death or decay. It is the world as I intended it to be before sin broke it. Think of a place where there are no more hospitals, no more cancer wards, no more funeral homes, no more divorce courts, no more depression medication. In my presence, there is fullness of joy. I will personally wipe away every tear from your eyes. I will take your face in my hands and say, "It is over. The suffering is over. You are home." The relief you will feel in that moment will outweigh every second of pain you endured on earth. I am preparing a place specifically for you. It is not a generic hotel room. It is a mansion built with your name on the door. I know what you love because I gave you those desires. Do not leave your room empty. Do not let your seat at the wedding feast be vacant. I want you there. I want to hear your laughter ring out in the corridors of glory. Think of the reunion with the loved ones who died in the faith, grandparents, parents, friends who have gone before. They are waiting for you. They are cheering you on from the balcony of heaven, shouting, "Don't give up. It's worthy. Keep running. Your citizenship is in heaven. Stop building your empire here on this sinking ship. Stop hoarding treasures that moths will eat and rust will destroy. Send your treasures ahead. Lie for the kingdom that cannot be shaken. When you close your eyes in death, I want you to open them and see my face smiling at you, welcoming you into the joy of your master. Look up. Your redemption draws near. The struggles of this life are but a light affliction compared to the eternal weight of glory that awaits you. Hold on. I am coming soon, and my reward is with me. You have pulled away. I have watched you slowly retreat from the body of Christ. You say, "I can worship God alone in nature," or "I don't need the church. It's full of hypocrites." You have been hurt by people who claim to represent me, and for that, I am deeply sorry. But you are making a fatal error. You are trying to survive as a solitary ember. When a coal is pulled from the fire and set alone on the hearth, it does not burn brighter. It grows cold and dies. You are cooling off, and you don't even realize it. The wolf does not attack the flock. The wolf waits for the sheep that wanders off alone. The enemy loves your isolation. He loves it when you are separated from the protection, accountability, and encouragement of other believers. When you are alone, there is no one to correct you when you drift into error. There is no one to pick you up when you fall. There is no one to pray for you when you are too weak to pray for yourself. You are vulnerable. You are exposed. Church is not a building. It is not a club. It is my bride. Do not despise her. She is imperfect, yes, because she is made of people like you, broken people in the process of being healed. But she is my chosen vessel for your growth. You need the annoyance of other people to sharpen your character. I can show up inside. You cannot be sharpened in isolation. You will only become dull. You need to serve others, and you need others to serve you. Solitude is for prayer. Isolation is a tactic of the enemy. There is a difference. Solitude is a chosen time to be with me. Isolation is a withdrawal from the family I gave you. You are starving yourself of fellowship. You think you are strong enough to stand alone against the principalities and powers of darkness. You are not. Even the greatest warriors in my word had companions. Moses had Aaron. David had Jonathan. Paul had Silas. Who do you have? Who knows your secrets? Who fights for you in prayer? Return to fellowship. Swallow your pride. Overcome your offense. Find a body of believers where the Bible is preached and the name of Jesus is lifted high, and plant yourself there. It will be messy. People will annoy you. But that is where you grow. That is where you find safety. Do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together, especially as you see the day approaching. You are part of a body, the body of Christ. A hand cannot survive if it is cut off from the arm. Reattach yourself before the tissue dies. I command you, go back to the family. You worry so much, my child. I see you pacing the floor. I hear your mind racing at 3:00 a.m., replaying scenarios, calculating risks, terrified of the what-ifs. You worry, but you do not pray. This is why you have no peace. You carry burdens I never intended for you to carry. You are trying to be the general of your own war, but you have a direct line to the commander-in-chief, and you refuse to pick up the phone. Prayer is not a ritual. It is not a poem you recite before you sleep. It is the lifeline of your relationship with me. It is the oxygen of your soul. When you stop praying, you stop breathing spiritually. I am waiting to hear your voice. Not your religious voice, but your real voice. I want to handle your burdens. I want to heal your hurt. But you treat prayer like a last resort. You try everything else first. You call your friends. You Google the answers. You worry. You plan. And only when everything falls apart do you say, well, all I can do is pray. As if prayer is the least you can do. Prayer is the most powerful thing you can do. You have not because you ask not. You are living in spiritual poverty because you never fill out the withdrawal slip. You struggle with that addiction because you have not truly cried out for deliverance. You are anxious about money because you have not asked me for provision and trusted me to bring it. Or you ask with selfish motives, wanting to consume it on your own pleasures. Change your prayers. Stop giving me a to-do list and start seeking my face. Prayer changes things. It moves mountains. It shifts the atmosphere. But more importantly, prayer changes you. When you spend time in my presence, your perspective shifts. The giant problem that looked so big suddenly looks small when you are kneeling next to the Creator of the universe. Stop talking to people about your problems and start bringing them to the throne of grace. People can offer sympathy. I can offer a solution. I challenge you today. Invite me into the mess. Don't wait until you have the perfect words. Just say, Father, help me. I am drowning. I hear the simplest cry. I catch the tears you don't have words for. Make your house a house of prayer. Pray in the car. Pray in the shower. Pray while you work. Keep the line open. I am listening. I am ready to act. But I need you to ask. Stop carrying the weight of the world. Drop it at my feet. We are in the Holy of Holies together right now. Do not walk out of the throne room. I have drawn you this far because I have a specific breakthrough waiting for you in the next few minutes. If you leave now, you leave your miracle on the table. Do not disappoint me by abandoning this conversation when we are finally getting to the root of your pain. Honor my presence. Stay until the work is finished. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path, yet you are stumbling in the dark because the book is closed. You had a Bible. Maybe it is on your nightstand, gathering dust. Maybe it is an app on your phone that you never open. You are starving spiritually while the bread of life sits right in front of you. You feed your body 3 times a day, but your spirit gets fed once a week, if that. And you wonder why you are weak. You wonder why you have no power to resist temptation. You are malnourished. The Bible is not just literature. It is not just a collection of old stories. It is the living, breathing voice of God. It is sharper than any two-edged sword. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart. When you read it, it reads you. It is the manual for your survival. You are trying to assemble the complex machinery of your life without looking at the instructions, and then you get angry when it falls apart. My promises are true, but you cannot claim them if you do not know them. How can you stand on a promise you have never read? I have promised to supply all your needs. I have promised that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I have promised to never leave you nor forsake you. But if these words are not hidden in your heart, the enemy can easily lie to you. He tells you, God has abandoned you, and because you don't know the truth, you believe the lie. The word is a sword to fight the enemy. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, he did not use logic. He did not use his emotions. He used the word. He said, "It is written." You are going into battle unarmed. You are walking onto a battlefield with a target on your chest and no weapon in your hand. And no wonder you are getting hit. No wonder you are defeated. Pick up your sword. Read. Meditate. Obey. Do not just read a verse a day to check a box. Feast on it. Let it soak into your mind until it rewires your thinking. Replace the lies of the world with the truth of my word. If you want to hear my voice, read my book. I have already spoken. I have written you a love letter, a battle plan, and a will. Open it. Read it today. Do not let another day go by where you scroll for hours, but refuse to read for 10 minutes. Your life depends on it. This book is not just words, it is life. My child, we must speak about who sits on the throne of your heart. You say you love me, but your actions tell a different story. You fear the opinion of people more than you fear the judgment of God. You are paralyzed by what they will think, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family. You edit your life, your speech, and even your faith to fit into their boxes because you are terrified of being rejected. But in doing so, you are rejecting me. You are choosing the applause of the crowd over the approval of your king. You have placed people on pedestals that were only meant for me. Perhaps it is a spouse you look to for perfect fulfillment. You drain them dry, demanding they meet emotional needs that only I can meet. You crush them with the weight of your expectation, expecting them to be your savior, your healer, and your source of joy. They are only human. They are finite. They will fail you, not because they are bad, but because they are not God. When you make an idol out of a person, you turn a blessing into a curse. I see the relationships that are dragging you into the dark. You are unequally yoked. You are trying to build a life with someone who does not know me, thinking you can change them, thinking your love is enough to save them. It is not. Light cannot have fellowship with darkness. You are compromising your convictions to keep the peace, but you are losing your soul in the process. You think, if I leave this relationship, I will be alone. And so, you choose a toxic companion over my presence. I am a jealous God. I will not share your ultimate affection with another. I will not play second fiddle to a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or even a child that you have elevated above me. Human love is fragile. It is conditional. It says, I love you for I love you because my love is the only constant in the universe. My love says, I love you anyway. If you build your life on the foundation of human approval, you are building on a fault line. One argument, one betrayal, one death, and your whole world collapses. You must tear down these altars of people-pleasing. If you choose the world's friendship, you make yourself an enemy of God. That is a hard truth, but it is the truth. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot walk in two directions. I am calling you to detach your worth from who likes you and attach it to who I say you are. Stop checking your phone for their text and start checking my word for my promise. Stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, what does he desire? I am the only one who will never leave you nor forsake you. Everyone else is just passing through. Make me your obsession, and I will teach you how to love people correctly, without worshiping them. I gave you a life. I gave you breathe in your lungs, a mind that can think, hands that can work, and resources to manage. But how are you spending them? You act as if your time is your own, to be squandered on vanity and empty entertainment. You are killing time, but in reality, time is killing you. Every tick of the clock is a second you will never get back. I look at your days, and I see hours lost to scrolling, to gossip, to mindless distractions that leave you empty. You are trading diamonds for dust. I gave you talents, specific gifts that I placed inside you before you were born. Maybe it is the ability to write, to sing, to organize, to encourage, to make money, or to teach. But you are burying your talents in the ground. You are hiding them behind a wall of fear and laziness. You say, I am not good enough, or what if I fail? Or I'll use them later. You are like the wicked servant who hid his master's money because he was afraid. I did not give you those gifts to boost your ego. I gave them to you to build my kingdom. Your life is a vapor. It is like a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. You are here for a blink of an eye in light of eternity. Do not waste your vapor on things that will burn. You spend your energy building your own little empire, your career, your house, your retirement fund. These things are fine in their place, but they are terrible gods. If your life is only about your comfort and your success, you have failed the test of stewardship. You will give an account. This is not a threat. It is a reality. One day you will stand before me, and I will ask, what did you do with what I gave you? What will you say? Will you show me a high score in a video game? Will you show me a perfectly manicured lawn? Will you show me a bank account that you couldn't take with you? Or will you show me scars earned in the service of love? Will you show me souls that were touched by your kindness? Will you show me a kingdom built by your sacrifice? Use your gifts now. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait until you feel ready. You are ready when you obey. Use your money to bless the poor, not just to buy more stuff you don't need. Use your voice to speak truth, not to spread rumors. Use your time to pray, not just to play. The greatest tragedy is to succeed in things that do not matter. You can climb the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Do not let that be your story. Spend your life for me, and you will find it. Keep it for yourself, and you will lose it. I see the anger you carry toward me. You don't say it out loud, but I hear the scream in your heart. You ask, why did you let this happen? You point to the divorce, the sickness, the job loss, the betrayal, and you say, if you loved me, you wouldn't have allowed this. My child, you misunderstand the nature of my love. My love is not a pampering love that gives you everything you want. It is a purifying love that makes you into who you need to be. You are angry at me for your suffering, but I am using it to refine you. Look at gold. How is it made pure? It is put into the fire. The heat melts it down, and the dross, the impurities, float to the surface so the refiner can skim them off. The refiner keeps the gold in the fire until he can see his own reflection in it. I am the refiner. You are the gold. The fire you are in right now is hot, I know. But I am not trying to destroy you. I am trying to remove the dross of pride, self-reliance, and worldliness from your character. I am near to the broken-hearted. You feel abandoned, but I have never been closer to you than I am right now in your pain. Your pain is the access point for my presence. When you are strong and happy, you often forget me. But when you are broken, you cry out. Do not waste your sorrows. Do not just grit your teeth and wait for it to be over. Let the pain drive you to the cross. Let it strip away the illusions of this world. I allow what I hate, suffering, to accomplish what I love, your holiness. I hate cancer. I hate divorce. I hate death. These are the enemies I came to destroy. But in this fallen world, I use them as tools to shape you. You want comfort, I want character. You want an easier life, I want a stronger you. You are praying for me to change your circumstances, but I am using your circumstances to change you. Trust me in the dark. It is easy to trust me when the sun is shining and the bills are paid. But true faith is forged in the furnace. Can you trust me when you don't understand? Can you say, though he slay me, yet will I trust him? I have not abandoned you. I am maturing you. I am preparing you for a weight of glory that you cannot carry yet. Stop fighting the process. Lean into me. Let me hold you while you weep. I am catching every tear, and I promise you, I will redeem every single one of them. Fear is a liar. I need you to say that out loud. Fear is a liar. It does not come from me. I did not give you a spirit of fear. That knot in your stomach, that racing heart, that catastrophic thinking that keeps you awake, that is from the enemy. He uses fear to paralyze you. He paints pictures in your mind of a future that has not happened, and you live as if those pictures are real. You are suffering from disasters that have not even occurred. Anxiety is atheism in practice. It sounds harsh, but think about it. When you worry, you are acting as if I am not on the throne. You are acting as if I am not good, as if I am not powerful, or as if I have lost control of the universe. You are taking the burden of being God onto your own shoulders, and your shoulders are too small to carry it. You worry about your children, your health, your money, as if your worrying adds a single hour to your life. It does not. It only steals your joy and ruins your testimony. I have given you a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. You have a sound mind. That means you have the ability to control your thoughts. You do not have to be a victim of your own thinking. When a fearful thought comes, you have the authority to arrest it. You can say, no, that is a lie. My God supplies all my needs. You must fight back. You are not a helpless observer of your own anxiety. You are a warrior equipped with my peace. Focus on my omnipotence, not your circumstances. If you look at the waves, you will sink like Peter. If you look at me, you will walk on water. The problem is not the size of the storm. The problem is the focus of your eyes. Shift your gaze. Look at how I have led you in the past. Have I ever failed you? Have I ever let you starve? Have I not brought you through every difficulty up to this point? Why would I stop now? Be bold, my child. If I am for you, who can be against you? What can man do to you? The worst they can do is kill the body, and even then, you wake up in my arms. You are invincible until your purpose is finished. Stop living like a fugitive, afraid of your own shadow. Stand up. Square your shoulder. Breathe in my power. I am the Lion of Judah, and I live inside of you. Roar back at the darkness. Tell your fear that your God is bigger. You are on the very edge of victory. Do not retreat into the shadows now. I have saved the most vital instruction for the end, the seal that will lock in your freedom. To stop the race when the finish line is in sight would be a tragedy that grieves all of heaven. Do not let the enemy snatch this word from your heart before it takes root. Finish this with me. I am watching you. I have given you a spirit of power, not fear, and this power extends to the very resources I have placed in your hands. The enemy wants you to hoard out of anxiety, believing your supply is limited, but I call you to give out of bold authority, declaring that I am your infinite source. When you support this ministry through PayPal or membership, you are breaking the chains of scarcity and financing the war against darkness. Honor the Lord with your wealth, and I will rebuke the devourer for your sake, protecting what remains in your storehouse. Do not let the spirit of fear dictate your giving. Instead, open the windows of heaven over your life by pouring into the lives of others. Your support allows this word to go forth with power, shattering the lies that hold my children captive. I command you to stand in faith today. Click the link, sow your seed with confidence, and trust me to sustain you as you build my kingdom. Be bold, for I am with you. The enemy has a favorite whisper. He waits until you are alone, until you have messed up, and then he leans in and says you are unworthy. You have gone too far. You are damaged goods. God could never use someone like you. He reminds you of your past, the abortion, the addiction, the divorce, the betrayal, the shameful secrets. He holds up a mirror and shows you your filth. But I am here to smash that mirror. My grace is greater than your deepest sin. You cannot out-sin my ability to forgive. Where sin abounds, grace abounds much more. You think your sin is a mountain. My grace is the ocean. Throw your mountain into my ocean and watch it disappear. I did not come for the healthy. I have no use for the perfect people who think they don't need me. I came for the sick. I came for the broken. I came for you. Do not insult the cross by thinking your sin is too big for my blood. When you say, I am too bad to be saved, you are saying that Jesus' sacrifice was not enough. You are saying his blood is not powerful enough to wash your specific stain. That is pride disguised as humility. It is not humility to reject my gift. It is humility to accept it, knowing you don't deserve it. You are not defined by your past. You are not an addict. You are not a failure. You are not an adulterer. Those are things you did. They are not who you are. You are who I say you are. And I call you beloved. I call you chosen. I call you redeemed. I call you child. When I look at you through the lens of my Son, I do not see your past. I see his righteousness. Come as you are. Stop trying to clean yourself up. You can't. Come to me dirty. Come to me ashamed. Come to me with the smell of the pig pen still on your clothes. I will wash you. I will make you white as snow. I love to take broken things and make them beautiful. In Japan, they mend broken pottery with gold, making the cracks the most beautiful part of the piece. I want to do that with you. Your scars can become your testimony. Your mess can become your message. But you must stop believing the lie that you are unwanted. You are wanted. I want you. I chose you. And now choose me. My child, we have arrived at one of the hardest things I will ever ask you to do, but it is also the most necessary. You are holding on to something that is rotting your soul from the inside out. I see the face of that person flashing in your mind right now. I see the hurt they caused you, the betrayal, the abuse, the lies, the abandonment. You feel justified in your anger. You have rehearsed the speech you would give them 1,000 times. You hold that grudge like a shield, thinking it protects you from being hurt again. But I tell you, you cannot hold a grudge and hold my hand at the same time. You must let go. If you do not forgive others, your Father in heaven will not forgive you. That is a terrifying statement, but I said it because it is true. Unforgiveness blocks the flow of grace. Imagine a pipe that brings water into your home. If you clog the outflow, the inflow stops. You are asking me for mercy every day for your own sins, yet you are choking the neck of the person who owes you a few dollars. You cannot live by the law of judgment with others and expect to live by the law of grace with me. You must choose one system. If you want justice for them, you will get justice for yourself. If you want mercy for yourself, you must extend mercy to them. Bitterness is a poison you drink expecting the other person to die. You lie awake at night thinking about what they did while they are sleeping soundly. You are the one getting ulcers. You are the one losing your joy. You are the one in prison. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was right. It is not saying they are innocent. It is simply transferring the right of judgment from your courtroom to mine. It is saying, God, I trust you to handle this. I release them from my debt. You say, but Lord, they don't deserve it. My child, neither did you. Look at the cross. Did you deserve my son dying for you? Did you deserve the air in your lungs after you used it to curse me? No. You forgive not because they are worthy, but because you have been forgiven so much. The servant who was forgiven $1 million debt but refused to forgive a $10 debt was thrown into prison. Do not be that servant. I am calling you to a supernatural act. You cannot do this in your own strength. Your flesh wants revenge, but my spirit in you can do the impossible. Release the debt. Right now. Say it out loud, I forgive. I release them. Feel the chains fall off. The moment you let go of the judgment, you open your heart to a healing you have not felt in years. Love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. This is the mark of a true child of God. It is the family resemblance. If you want to look like your Father, you must forgive. I need you to open your eyes and look at the world around you. You are watching the news. You are scrolling through your feed, and you feel low-level panic that you cannot explain. You see the wars, the rumors of wars, the earthquakes in diverse places. You see the lawlessness rising in the streets. You see a culture that calls evil good and good evil. These are not just random events. They are the birth pains of a new age. They are the ticking of the prophetic clock that I set in motion eons ago. The love of many is growing cold, just as I foretold. You see it in the way people treat each other online. The viciousness, the hatred, the complete lack of empathy. You see it in the breakdown of the family. You see it in the church, where many have fallen away, chasing after ear-tickling doctrines rather than the hard truth of the gospel. These signs are not meant to scare you. They are meant to prepare you. They are the flashing red lights on the dashboard telling you that the engine is overheating and the destination is near. Do not be asleep at the wheel when the bridegroom arrives. Many in your generation are living in a stupor. They are eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage, completely oblivious to the storm gathering on the horizon. They are like the people in the days of Noah, mocking the rain until the water was up to their necks. Do not be like them. You have been warned. You have the book. You know how the story ends. Live every day as if it were the last day, for it very well might be. If I came back tonight, would I find you faithful? Would I find you doing the work of the kingdom? Or would I find you distracted by the toys of this world? Would I find oil in your lamp, or has your fire gone out? The foolish virgins thought they had time to buy oil later, but the door was shut while they were out shopping. Do not let the door shut on you. The night is coming when no man can work. There is a deadline. There is a moment coming when the opportunity to witness to your neighbor, to forgive your brother, to give to the poor, will be over. Be about my business now. Stop living for the American dream or the European dream or whatever dream your culture sells you. Lie for the kingdom. Lift up your head, for your redemption draws near. The chaos you see is not the end of the world. It is the clearing of the stage for the return of the King. Be ready. Keep your eyes on the eastern sky. I'm coming soon. My child, we are reaching the end of this conversation, but I pray it is the beginning of your new life. My hand is outstretched to you right now, in this very moment. Can you see it? Can you feel the weight of my glory in the room with you? I am not a distant concept. I am a person, and I am standing at the door of your heart. I am knocking. Listen. Knock, knock, knock. I will not kick the door down. I am a gentleman. You must open it from the inside. You have the handle. Do not harden your heart as they did in the rebellion. You have heard my voice today. You have felt the conviction in your gut. That is not indigestion. That is the fear of the Lord, which is the beginning of wisdom. Do not brush this off. Do not say, that was a nice motivational reading, and go back to your old life. If you walk away from this encounter unchanged, your heart will be harder tomorrow than it is today. And one day, you might not be able to hear the knock at all. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." Let him who hears say, "Come." I am offering you water that will quench your thirst forever. You have been drinking from broken cisterns, relationships, careers, substances, entertainment, and you are still thirsty. You are parched. Your soul is cracked and dry like a desert floor. Come to the waters. Come buy wine and milk without money and without price. I am the living water. If you drink of me, you will never thirst again. Choose life, that you and your descendants may live. This is a choice between life and death. It is not a choice between religion and fun. It is a choice between existing and living. It is a choice between eternal darkness and eternal light. I am setting before you an open door. Walk through it. Drop your defenses. Drop your arguments. Drop your pride. I am ready to receive you. I don't care what you did last night. I don't care what you did 5 minutes ago. I care about right now. My arms are open wide. The cross proved how wide they are. Run into them. Collapse into my love. Let me hold you. Let me save you. Let me be the father you have always wanted. Say yes to me. Just a simple yes. That is all it takes to turn the key. Now, I want to seal this moment. I want you to drive a stake in the ground. Make your calling and election sure. Do not rely on a prayer you prayed when you were 6 years old if there has been no fruit in your life since then. Do not rely on the fact that your grandmother was a saint. God has no grandchildren, only children. You must be born again. You must make this decision for yourself. I want to write your name in the Lamb's Book of Life, never to be blotted out. Imagine that book is the only registry that matters. When the books are opened at the end of time, will your name be found there? If you surrender to me today, if you truly repent and believe, I will write your name in indelible ink, sealed by the Holy Spirit. No one can snatch you out of my hand. You will be mine forever. There is a peace that passes understanding for those who are truly mine. You have been looking for peace in a pill bottle, in a bottle of wine, in a vacation. But true peace is a person. It is my presence guarding your heart and mind. When you are mine, you can sleep in the storm because you know the captain of the boat. I want to give you that peace today. I want you to take a deep breath and feel the anxiety melt away, replaced by the assurance that you are held. Cross the line of faith. Stop halting between two opinions. Stop standing in the doorway. Come all the way in. The fire is warm. The food is on the table. The family is waiting. Stop being a spectator of Christianity and become a participant in Christ. I love you with an everlasting love. I have loved you before the stars were made, and I will love you after they burn out. Let me save you. Let me lead you. This is the end of the message, but let it be the beginning of your life with me. Do not close this script and forget. Mark this day. Mark this hour. This is the moment you stopped running. This is the moment you came home. I am here. I am yours. Be mine. My child, I have spoken. The words are before you. The choice is within you. You have sealed your heart with me today. Now, I invite you to seal this covenant with an offering of gratitude and purpose. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Do not leave your heart in the fading economy of this world, but invest it in the eternal souls I am saving through this channel. Every donation via Super Thanks or PayPal is a stone in the foundation of my kingdom, ensuring this urgent cry reaches another wandering child before the door shuts. He who sows sparingly will reap sparingly, but I invite you to a bountiful harvest of joy that moth and rust cannot destroy. As you have feasted at this table, do not muzzle the ox that treads the grain. Give freely so this message continues to feed the hungry and heal the broken. I declare a blessing upon your basket and your storehouse as you prioritize my work above your own comfort. Make your sacrifice today by clicking the links below, and let your giving be a sweet incense rising to my throne. Do this in remembrance of my grace. Do not let this holy urgency fade into the silence of inaction. I call you to seal your decision right now, before the distractions of the world steal this seed from your heart. If you have heard my voice thundering above the noise and are ready to cross the line from death to life, mark this moment forever. Declare your return boldly by writing "I surrender all" below, not merely as words on a screen, but as a binding covenant etched upon your soul. Let this public declaration be the death certificate of your old life and the birth announcement of your new destiny. I am watching, I am listening, and I am waiting for your yes. Write it now, my child, and let the heavens rejoice. Amen.